Thank you for auditing Professor Sky's Record Review, the always positive new music review show hosted by a French professor who is very excited to be reviewing Modeselektor's Extended. Now listen, this is billed and sold as a mixtape. According to their press release, it is a sort of response to the chaos of the outside world. And this is the thing, mixtapes in general are the term that people use when they want to release something, but they don't want you to take it too seriously, right? Like it's not an album, it's a mixtape. Sure, it's an hour long, sure, there's 27 songs, but it's not really one of our actual albums. So as you can see behind me, I purchased their previous album, Who Else? And of course, I own Monkey Town as well. So the question that I'll be asking and answering at the end of this video, will I be buying this album? Is it worth my time? Is it worth my money to invest in this if apparently Modeselektor themselves just sort of see this as kind of a throwaway project? First of all, we should probably mention the fact that someday I will be doing a video just about the album Monkey Town. I believe this to be one of the best albums of the century. It's in at least my top 25 albums of all time. It is a goddamn masterpiece, track by track. Only 2 tracks are not like my favorite songs in the whole world. Modeselektor is, I believe, the best existent electronic dance music band in the world, okay? I think once Daft Punk retired, they can officially claim the belt, claim the title. So listen, I'm talking about this being a mixtape. But this is a mixtape from a very important, very, very good band. Apparently they assembled this over COVID. Like they assembled this while in quarantine, and they took material going all the way back from 2007 and made some new stuff last year. They don't delineate what was made when, and you can't even really tell. In fact, you can't delineate anything because everything just segues so perfectly one song to the next. The thing with this album is that even though it's a mixtape, even though it doesn't have the same feeling as their other 2 albums, which are well known for having these collaborators that come on and sing songs and just make songs that just blow your mind, they're so good. We can't forget, these are the people that made Monkey Town. These are these 2 wonderful German music producers who are capable of making such great work. I was asked recently in a comment section, I'm sorry, I forget who asked, how many albums do you listen to in a day? And the answer is actually not that many. On Friday, when new music comes out, I listen to, 30, 40 albums. I try to listen to everything, see what I'm going to review for the week. But then, once I know what I'm reviewing, I basically listen to 1 album at a time. And what I do is I live with the album. And certain albums are better, and certain albums are worse at different times of the day in different levels of attention. Extended by Modeselektor is a perfect album to live with. You want to put it on in the background while driving? Great. You want to put it on while grading some questions on Waiting for Godot for your French comedy class? Great. You want to do homework and listen to this? Have it in the background? Wonderful. Or you can put on your headphones and listen to every note and just get lost in the depth, lost in the ingenuity, lost in this atmosphere that they're able to create. You can dedicate next to no or complete attention to it and have it be totally satisfying. The problem for me is, how do I actually talk about this in an interesting way? How do you take 27 tracks over an hour that just goes just one long song that goes from like a smooth dancehall groove to aggravating blips to kind of calm thought? How do I actually talk about this? I mean, I have this problem all the time with electronic music, especially when it's instrumental. How is this that different from one of deadmau5's projects? Okay, and I like deadmau5, right? But he's very different from Modeselektor. But deadmau5's albums, like, they're instrumental, and they all kind of lead in, and they all kind of set an atmosphere, and they all have kind of titles. But how do you actually go into it? How do you talk about it? When it feels, at times, like it can be factory music made by computers, and certainly with deadmau5, you get that feeling that he's just sort of cranking out these songs and cranking this out. It's odd to have this album by Modeselektor make me feel like that, but completely different. The difference is, pardon the pun, the Kraftwerk, the amount of attention to detail, how well wrought this music is, how well made this music is. It's subtly well made. It's not like, oh, where you listen to something and you just lose your mind and you say, you have to listen to these 5 seconds, they will change your life, which happens all the time on some of their other music. But it's more just the quality, just the absolute quality of this music, how well it works together, how well it works in all different areas of your life. It's just great. I don't want to make some kind of weird comment about German craftsmanship, because that's kind of tired and boring, but it is maybe worth mentioning. You know, a lot of German companies have difficulty because they make products that are good enough that they don't break, so they can't resell them. I think you could say that about Extended. Like, I don't think that Modeselektor could make a whole bunch of albums like this in the same way that deadmau5 just pumps them out, right? It isn't really a quantity album. It is a quality album that happens to have a lot of quantity. I am thankful for the fact that it's not just called, you know, Extended with no track titles. I'm happy that they break the songs up. I'm happy that they create some kind of delineation between them. The main thing that it's missing is what this album has. You know, featuring Bus Driver, featuring Tom York, featuring Otto van Schreach, featuring Miss Platinum, featuring PVT. All of these great collaborators. And perhaps my favorite project they ever worked on was with a French group called TTC. You know, like where's their collaborators? They do such a good job of creating these soundscapes for other artists to play in that make the other artists better and make them better. Toby's collaborating. I think that was a delivery. Hey, Toby, I'm talking about Modeselektor, and it's officially kind of cute. I don't have to stop the video yet. I don't think there's anyone there. I think it was just a delivery. I'm back. I don't edit the videos, but if the dogs bark for more than like 15 seconds, I have to stop it. So, you know, where are the collaborators? That's the question. That's what we wonder about. But there is an answer. You have to go to the video that was made for this. It is a modern dance project called Work. As of now, it only has like 13,000 views, and that is a shame. This thing should be in the millions. It is created entirely by this American dancer, Corey Scott Gilbert, and he danced to the entire album all around this theme of work. And it is as good an example of how to tie together music and dance as you can see, especially music and dance as it pertains to modern dance and modern music. So I'm going to get into what makes the album great, what makes the dancing great, by focusing on just one small chunk, okay? I'm going to give you a link in a second. I'm going to point up here and a link's going to pop up. This is what you're going to be watching. The song Hood, featuring Jackson and his computer band. I don't know, I guess it's another electronic musician who works with them. It's the most funky, upbeat song. It's the most kind of Modeselektor-ish, if you're looking for something that sounds like their old work that you like. And it's sort of the one that I listened to the first time and thought, they need a collaborator. But they definitely have one. They have one with the dancing that goes along with it. The dancing which is absolutely perfect. So go there, go to this video, go to 9 minutes and 46 seconds into the video and watch this section. Watch this dancer dance and listen to this music and see how they go together. Because here's a question, what genre does Modeselektor work in? Electronic dance music. What's the middle word of electronic dance music? Dance. How do you dance to electronic dance music? For the most part, you just club dance. I mean, I don't really know how to club dance. I've only been to a club once, actually. So I don't know how you club dance. I realize I can't undo what I just did. So that's how I club dance, I suppose. But why? Why aren't there more projects like this? And maybe there are. If you know of other projects like this, please tell me, put it in the comments. But why is there not more of a synthesis between electronic dance music and modern dance? I can't imagine it being done better than it is here. Electronic dance music does not have to be boring, and dancing to electronic dance music doesn't have to be boring either. It doesn't all have to be that scene in The Matrix where they're all getting rained on, okay? The dancing matches the music perfectly all the way throughout this. And if you have an hour, okay, what are you gonna do? I don't know, watch It's Always Sunny on Hulu, or watch The Office on Peacock, or whatever it is you're just gonna do to fill your brain, you know, watch a Marvel movie, Falcon in the Winter, you know, whatever. No, watch this. Take an hour, watch electronic music at its height and modern dance at its height. Like the music, Corey Scott Gilbert is graceful and completely disjointed, totally unsettling and beautiful all at the same time, totally warbled and totally badass. Just like the music. All those things can apply to the dancer, can apply to the music. And this is real artists collaborating to make real capital A art. You even know it's art because it's produced by Arte, the TV station that is co-funded by the French and German government just to promote art. By the way, the entire project is funded by the German government. By the way, Europe does a very good job of supporting the arts. America could take a lesson. Just when you watch this guy dance, I was watching it this morning over cereal with my daughter, and she was just like, human bodies aren't supposed to work like that. I mean, he's got like, seems like he has no joints in his body, you know, but it's not like tricks, you know, he's not like trying to make you go like, whoa. He's able to like use his just absolute, you know, just insane control over his body. He's like molecular control over his body to go along with the beat. He's like drowning himself. He's wearing a weird pinball as a helmet. He's grinding his face on the floor. He gets stuck in concrete and dances basically naked in concrete with his shoes in concrete slabs and attached to strings. It's funny because my daughter said human beings aren't supposed to move like that. And I went to the gym and like, I almost didn't do my workouts. Like, you know, almost didn't lift weights because my shoulder hurts a little bit. And I was just thinking like, I was like, all right, if this guy could do all this, I can at least lift a couple of weights. What I like about the dance project is that it's not totally synced all the time, but it's synced some of the time. Sometimes he's dancing right with the beat, other times he's not. He does a lot of different things. It's never boring, it's always interesting, and it's apparently, I think it's probably just a statement about work itself. It's a sort of commentary on late-stage capitalism, on the dehumanizing nature of work. I think he's a worker who shows up and just goes through all these terrible things. And then at the end of the day, it's clear it's going to start over again. It's about the exploitation of capitalism. It's about the exploitation of the worker, the unprotected worker, the oppressed worker. The set itself reminds me a lot. I'm teaching Waiting for Godot right now in my class, and you know, it's got that kind of sparse set, and it even has that same sense of boring repetitiveness, although a lot more isolation, and it just works so beautifully. So please have a listen to that, watch that, and just marvel at this thing that just came out. You know, I mean, people are doing this. People are making this kind of great art right now. We don't have to wait for Baryshnikov, or we don't have to wait for Tchaikovsky or whatever, right? We don't have to wait to like watch some old people do stuff that they did 50, 100 years ago. This just happened, and it's amazing. I'm gonna go through the rest of the album super quickly because it's just one long song with lots of different modes. Minibus is the opening track, and it starts with the sound of putting in a tape. Matter of fact, if I do buy this album, I have to choose, I usually buy vinyl, between CD and tape. So, am I gonna have to be a hipster and buy a tape? Yeesh. That's a strike one there, Modeselektor. But still, that is the form of this work. It is a mixtape, so it makes sense that the sound of the tape going in is there. Many of these songs are apparently reworks. This song has a great pulsing, metallic, rhythmic sounds, video game bloops. Like one of the few words on the entire album is just someone saying "Selektor." Electronic drums are replaced by like these electronic shrieks. Goes right into the next song, Dentist, with like weird electronic toms and shrieking metal sounds, syncopated claps going against this kind of like screaming descending synths. Eventually those synths find a home down low and chill out. It's all very aggravating, all very invigorating, leading right into Sekt 12, which I think means champagne at midnight. Sprechen Sie kein Deutsch. But it's very kind of blunt and aggravating with this blown out bass sound. Takin, which means thanks, has their kind of trademark synth, like dance hall rhythms. They're so good at using dance hall rhythms and doing interesting things with them electronically. Kind of weird sort of glockenspiel sounds with heavy reverb, and even some what I think to be monastic sounds in the back. Then we have the song Hood, which I already mentioned. God damn it, that dancing. You know, like the dancing's so good that it gets stuck in my head and I just keep thinking about it. Rainy, which works, it's raining right now. A very super pulsing, awesome song, greatly layered. Hayendo Dance Hall, another highlight of the album, more of their dance hall stuff. Leads into an interlude and then Bang Face. The interlude indicates that maybe there's different sections. I think there's 3 different sections of the album, kind of 3 different sections of a workday, I think, like getting geared up and then sort of the grind and then winding down at the end. I don't know. Really nice kind of fluttering keyboards on here. It's kind of like a stilted waltz. 1000 Kicks is just a messed up sounds leading into Pulse, which is a real pulse. Reminds me a little bit of like the kind of like electronic dance music, a little bit like the Confusion remix from the Blade soundtrack, which is probably one of my favorite techno songs of all time. Kind of that sort of like feeling, the kind of like deep bass, deep sound, you know, like nothing too catchy, but you're sort of like in it. I'm dancing a lot today, huh? I bet y'all didn't know I'm a real dancer. A dancer, not a prostitute. The song Soda is more reflective, kind of like these stabbing synthesizers, nice kind of bells, like electronic bell sounds and then real bell sounds mixed in. Paradiso is a nice moving slow song leading into Kupfer, super pulsing leading into U8, kind of meditative and relaxed. And then Om, just a regular dance beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, makes you want to nod your head and groove. Great. The way this whole mixtape is put together with great care, like any mixtape is. The songs really match each other, they lead into each other, and the whole time it feels really dynamic. It feels like a breathing creation, you know? It really feels like one breathing creation. The Germs is just basically 1 minute of just vocalization in the back. Stadschloss, which I guess is some building in Germany, which is, according to Wikipedia, the site of revolts in 1848. Which, if you don't know, 1848 was like the most revolutionary year in the history of the world. But a lot of people don't study that. So that's what was happening in Germany. A kind of funny anecdote here. The Dr. and Mrs. Payne, my wife, was walking by while I was listening to this, and she goes, "This song could not be more grating. Seriously." And then the next track is called Disc. And just last night, we were driving to go play Pokemon Go, to go do some raid hour. That's how you keep a happy marriage. And we were listening to this album, and the song Disc came on. The song right after the one she said was the most annoying. And she goes, "I really like this song. I just really enjoy this. It's this beautiful song with this like gentle, almost pop-like, like ascending arpeggiators, some grimy drum sounds, but not too loud, and then this beautifully warbled synthesizer lead, just slightly off. Just, this perfect construction." That's very much what I think about this album, right? Where somebody who isn't into the kind of aggravating can say, "This is the worst thing I've ever heard," and then the next song can be a song so good that they say declaratively, "I really like this song." Next track, Movement, has Paul Saint-Hilaire, who's like a kind of an old toaster from reggae, I suppose. He's talking, but like not really. Like you can't really figure out what he's saying. Keller gets a little bit more aggressive, very awesome, building distortion, kind of like attacking and retreating. These next couple songs are all attacking and retreating. Mean, which builds on Keller, attacks and retreats. Kleinkrieg, which is named after some German band, apparently. Again, dropping out, back in, and then leading into Cthulhu Drums, which is a little study in different drum sounds that you can have in an electronic song, especially what they're doing with the snare drums is interesting and challenging and tinny and weird. Then getting towards the end, we're getting tired. The dancer's getting tired. We get to Bilbao. This kind of like, he's relaxing in the video, and also just everything's getting worn down, the end of the workday. This song's a little bit epic, leading into Lockdown and to Devotion is such a strong word. The final 2 songs. These actually remind me a little bit of Hans Zimmer's soundtracks to the Batman movies that he did. Just like really metallic, loud, like horn sounds, and just gently taking us out. Devotion is such a strong word. These real heavy, almost like harp strings with reverb, with a gentle outro. So, how's that for a mixtape? Hey, we're just gonna throw together some old crap that we found. You know, we're just gonna, I don't know, that's kind of good, Well, it is really good. It is spectacular. I'm so happy to have lived with this album for the past couple days. And I think it goes without saying, of course, I had to buy it. I had to buy whatever Modeselektor puts out. They are so good. They are that kind of band that you just have to support them. You just have to get them. And I do have a Patreon, and my Patreon I only use to buy music. Like, you give me money and I buy music. This isn't even part of that. This is just from my straight funds. I just had to get it, and I bought it on tape. Like a douchey hipster. Modeselektor. You turn me into a douchey hipster. You can't turn me into what I already was. Okay. Anyways, I'm very excited to listen to it. Thank you for sticking around. Please put in the comments also if you know of more projects like this with modern dance and electronic dance music. Has it ever been done this well? How often has it been tried? I don't know much about dance, although I do actually teach at a school that's known for its dance program, which is weird. So anyways, let me know. Until next time, oh wait, who's that guy? Who's that famous dancer guy I'm trying to think of? Not Alvin Ailey. Some other guy. Oh, fine. For Alvin Ailey, there's the camera.